Hey folks, welcome back to another long overdue episode of Brute Squad Barbecue. Some of you may know if you've been following on Snakebit, but I had an issue that I was pretty self-conscious about. I had some Bell's palsy, face was all fucked up, didn't want to do any videos. So, mostly back to work in order. Still kind of a benefit to being born ugly, I guess. Can't really tell. But we're back anyway, and we're gonna go back to one of the first videos I did and didn't finish. So we are gonna do a pork butt. Stick around, things have changed a little bit, not much, and we're gonna use a different cooker. So we'll see how that affects what I normally do versus, this new way. I'm gonna be learning it right along with you, so that should be fun. Stick around. Now, the biggest main difference we're going to do is, well, I guess it's not the biggest, but the main difference what we're going to do, last time we cooked this, we left this fat cap intact. What we're going to do this time is we're just going to run some scores across it. So that way, when we cook and shred this all up, this fat, we'll be able to get some nice flavor into it. And then as it's shredded up, it won't be having any big fat globules mixed in. And it'll also give a chance for some of this dry rub to get down deeper into the fat and give it a little bit more of a flavor profile. So I just wanted to give you a quick view of that. Nothing major. We're just cutting some cross patterns into it, and we're gonna rub this down. All right, so we have transferred this over into a pan. We're gonna go ahead, cover it up with some mustard. Same as last time. We are gonna use a different rub this time. Last time we used a Chipotle Killer Bee rub, which is still really good. I'm a big fan of that. However, that being said, the last time I made one of these, I went with a different rub. I went with the Dirty Bird, which is also just a terrific rub. And it tastes great on poultry. Don't let the name, or poultry, it does taste great on poultry, but it also tastes great on pork butt. So just because it's got the name bird in the name, doesn't mean that it's solely for poultry. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish getting this thing seasoned up, then we're gonna throw it in the fridge. So a lot of this is just going to get sped through. All right, so we've got this bad boy all seasoned up. I'm just gonna throw some aluminum foil over the top of it. We're gonna let it sit in the fridge overnight, and we're gonna get this thrown on the new to you, I've had it for a little while, but new-ish smoker. And probably about 6 in the morning, we're gonna get this thrown on there so we have it ready for dinner tomorrow night. All right, see you in the morning.
Good morning, folks. It is about 5:30 on Saturday morning. It's amazing out. We've been having that rain right now, and it feels pretty fantastic. Of course, the weather app on my phone does say it's gonna rain later on in the afternoon, so hopefully we're far enough along in the cook by then that it's not a big deal. I'm gonna take a minute and talk about this cooker we're gonna use. This is a cooker that I bought from a neighbor's yard sale, and it's by a company called The Good One. I guess they couldn't come up with a name, so they just decided on The Good One. And this particular model is called the Open Range. This is kind of a cool little contraption. You can see we got our coals started there in this bottom box. It's got these two lids, and the bottom box is where your fire is. You can see it's got these little screw vents down here that open and close to let air in or restrict it. And when you buy these new, there's actually a grill that you can put in there that also, so you can cook directly on coals like a regular grill. And then there's this fancy dancy little louver here in between the two boxes that controls the temperature for the smoker box. And then you've got a little screw type vent on the top there that is your exhaust. So your air control comes down through the bottom, goes through here, flows up into this box, and then it kind of circulates around in this box like a convention oven. So my neighbor had this at a yard sale. It was a smoking deal, no pun intended. So I thought I'd better just go ahead and pick it up. It's not as idiot proof as my handy dandy Masterbuilt here that sits right next to it. So this one's a little bit more complicated to use. I am cheating a little bit. You can see I've got a probe set up there to help monitor the temperature inside the smoke box. But other than that, that's about it. There's no electronics on this bad boy at all. Just fire and smoke. So we're gonna wait till these coals get going better, get this thing heated up, and we're gonna put this pork butt on. Stick around.
Okay, so ignore the sound of laundry being done in the background. Nina had mentioned when I've used this cooker in the past, she felt like the food maybe came out a little bit drier than she preferred. So what we're gonna do is something that I've done with some of the ribs that I've done. I haven't done a ribs video yet because I still haven't perfected the ribs, or at least gotten to where I'm consistent on them, but I'm getting close. But one of the things I have learned in doing that is a little trick to introduce more moisture into your food, or your smoked meats anyway. And that is rendered fat. You know, oftentimes what you're perceiving as juiciness in barbecue is all that intramuscular fat broken down to its individual components, and that's the juiciness. It's not really water, it's rendered fat. So, lard is rendered pork fat. I keep lard around just as something to cook with, as you can tell, and use quite a bit of it, also as you can tell. But one handy little trick is to take some pork fat and just take a few scoops. I'm probably going to use about 4 or 5 scoops here, probably 4. I'm just going to put these in a little tin, and I'm going to put this in the smoker when I put the meat in. And what that'll do is this lard will render down into a liquid, and then it will absorb that smoke flavor. And then when it comes time to wrap it, I can just kind of cover that pork butt in smoked lard for a little bit smoky flavor and to introduce some moisture back into it. That's if it loses it. So stick around. I just wanted to show you this handy dandy little trick. This works for pork. In the case of beef, you can use beef tallow, and you can find some Wagyu beef tallow on Amazon. It's like 20 bucks. I still haven't ordered it yet. I need to, just to keep around and use in experiments. But just wanted to give you a hint on this particular little trick. All right, sun is coming up. It's plenty nice and humid. I got my sprinklers going for some added humidity. Smoker is sitting right now right around the 250 range. I want to try to kind of keep it in that 240 to 250 range today. Just that's, you know, it's because it doesn't have the electronic controller in it like my other smoker. It's gonna fluctuate, and all I've really got to adjust it are these little vents and this little louver here. And the more I've used this cooker, the more I've determined that any little adjustment can have big implications on the temperature. So I'm trying not to mess with it too much, trying to just kind of get it in a little sweet spot, and then just let the temperature fluctuate, you know, on its own. So smoke is looking pretty good. You know, it's not totally clear yet, but it's, you know, not filthy smoke either. It's not that dirty white billowy smoke. It's cleaning up nicely. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw this pork butt on, and then we're also gonna throw in the lard to get that smoking. And then we wait. Like I said, this is a first for me too. I have not done a pork butt on this smoker. Again, this is the Open Range by the Good One, yard sale find. It's like a $1,200 smoker. I got it for like $250. It's worth it. So if my power ever goes out, I can still barbecue. All right, now because the heat source on this is different than on my Masterbuilt, what I'm gonna do is I'm putting the pork butt in there, fat cap down, to kind of help protect the meat a little bit from the heat. And then we're also doing it to where the bone side is towards the heat source. So same as last time, bone side towards the heat source, but also fat cap down this time to give a little layer of protection. So we're pretty much it. I'm going to stick this probe in here, and then we wait for, you know, however many hours this is going to take. I'm budgeting for about 10, but we'll see. So stick around, follow along, and we'll see how this goes. Okay, so we're about 4 hours in on our cook. Take a look, see how we're doing. Yeah, bark is warming up. Give it a little spritz. Got some nice color on it. Let it sit for some more. According to my probe here, we're sitting at about 144 internal. So maybe another hour or so, maybe 2. I'll have to take this off and wrap it. But for right now, we're looking good. Okay, so our probe has been reading about 165 for a while now. We're stalled out, so let's open this up and take a look before we wrap it up. There we are, that's our smoked lard. You can really see how, and if you put that in a normal pan, it turns just clear. Now, being in the smoker, it really has absorbed the smoke. You can see it in there. And of course, there's our pork butt looking gorgeous. We're gonna get this pulled off of here and wrapped up. every fucking time. Motherfucker. Piece of shit. So we've got our pork butt, still got the fat cap down. We're gonna go ahead and pour this smoked lard on here before we wrap it up, just to give it some extra juice. Look at that pullback, you can already see it, how far it's pulled back from the bone there. Wrapped up. Okay, so we are back out here. It's been just about 10 hours on the nose. Our temperatures are reading about 199. So we're gonna check it. I'm just gonna probe it and see how it's doing. Get through that butcher paper. Kept hitting the bone, but there is no resistance to this. And once you get through that paper, there is nothing, and it's probing right at about 201, 202. So it is done. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take it off of here, wrap it up in a towel inside, and just let it rest for a couple of hours. The importance of resting your meat cannot be overstated. You really need to make sure you're giving that meat plenty of time to let all the juices, come up. It's just the key to barbecue is a proper resting time. So what we're gonna do, yank this bad boy out of here, bring it inside. Just let it rest for a couple hours, and then we'll come back, tear it up, actually finish the barbecue pork butt video this time. Stick around. All right, so we're back. This has been resting for 2 hours. In the meantime, the sky opened up in ways that we haven't seen, I think we were talking about since Goldie's return game in 2019. When that happened, but it's finally calmed down. Thankfully, barbecue was all done before the sky opened up. So we are going to unwrap this bad boy and see if it's as good as I'm hoping it is. It looked pretty goddamn amazing when I wrapped it up. Get this unwrapped here. I can do that without making a tremendous mess. I think it's dry on me. Ta-da! All right, now, one way to tell if your pork butt is done, pull that bone off clean. And that is it. That is how you do pulled pork right there. That's the money muscle down in there. Got the smoke ring. And it's still piping hot, and it's been sitting for 2 hours. So, that is it. I have actually filmed the ending of a pork butt pulled pork video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time around. Yay!